tried to run us down.
Driver!
Sorry, sir. 2 men tried to flag me down, scared the horses off the road. Sorry, sir.
Now, let's move on, or I'll be late for my appointment.
Yes, sir.
Back! Move!
You spooked my team and almost upset my carriage.
Look, I'm sorry, but
Now, you stand away before I take this whip to you.
Move!
He's only a bit of a fellow, isn't he? Yeah, do you want to scalp him, Mingo, or shall I?
Don't lay a hand on my driver. And don't tempt me, sir. There's no penalty for killing a highwayman. Driver, the governor's mansion. And hurry.
Did he say governor's mansion? That's the way I heard it.
Top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe. The rippin'est, roarin'est, fightin'est man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. What a Boone, what a doer, what a dream come truer was he.
I assume, Captain, that you know why you're here.
All I know, Governor Henry, is that I've been put on detached duty from General Washington's command to take part in some special mission.
At my request.
Yes, sir, at your request. And speaking as a professional soldier, sir, may I say that I resent being removed from an important battle area to take part in some inconsequential frontier action.
You are at liberty to say anything you wish, Captain, but you are here for only one reason. General Washington has recommended you as being an expert artillery officer. For my part, I resent your attitude, but I need a man of your abilities. Now, if you'll permit me, I will explain why I've sent for you.
Certainly, sir.
As a professional soldier, you may be inclined to discount what I'm about to say as patriotic drivel, but I assure you...
Are you questioning my patriotism, sir?
No, I am merely asking to be allowed to finish what I have to say. When the Declaration of Independence was published here, the citizens of Williamsburg wished to contribute something to the cause. As you point out, Virginia is a frontier territory. Our resources are limited. But the people have given what they could. They've given metal, sir. All the metal they could. Iron skillets, iron statues, iron tools, copper. This precious metal has been melted down and cast into a weapon. The Williamsburg cannon. That's why you're here, Captain.
Do you mean to say, sir, that I've been brought all the way from Long Island to put my stamp of approval on a homemade cannon?
That's part of it. The part you can't understand, Captain, is that we have no artillery in our frontier perimeter defenses, and we are desperately in need of it.
Artillery? You have one cannon, sir. Now, what do you hope to accomplish with that?
Captain, are you familiar with Kaskaskia and Fort Vincennes?
Of course, sir.
The seat of British power in the West. Now, in spite of what you call inconsequential frontier action, these outlying settlements in Kentucky are vital to our national defense. The Indian raids on these settlements have been increasing. The various tribes involved are being armed and supplied by the British. Vincennes must be captured, Captain, and the British crushed, or Kentucky will be overrun, and our first line of defense destroyed.
Most ambitious undertaking, sir.
Major Clark, with a force of 180 men, has already stormed Kaskaskia and is now marching on Vincennes. It is quite possible that they are marching towards disaster.
That's at least one point we're agreed on.
With such an inadequate force and no line of supply, he is unable to lay siege. Nor can he storm that fort without artillery. He needs a cannon, Captain. Williamsburg cannon.
Are you proposing to transport a field piece all the way across Kentucky? Well, that's 1,000 miles, Governor. And through a wilderness, too.
I know that, Captain.
I suppose you've sent for me to train a gunner for your expedition.
Not to train a gunner. To be the gunner.
With all due respect, Governor, I think your plan borders on insanity.
That may be true. But I assure you it's also a necessity.
And what if I refuse?
I'll see to it that you're court-martialed and shot.
Well, that might be the better choice of the two. I'm an army officer, not a wagoneer.
I appreciate the hazards of the journey and the difficulties you'll be asked to overcome. And since you're unfamiliar with the wilderness, I've engaged a guide who knows Kentucky well.
And has this guide approved your plan?
I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. We meet with him at 10 o'clock tonight. And now, would you care to join me in a spot of brandy? Your Excellency. Have you carried out my orders, Mr. Forbes?
To the letter, Your Excellency. House is closed. Mr. Boone is waiting inside for you.
Very well. Good of you to come, Daniel. And you may go. I must apologize for asking you to meet me here, but I wanted to keep this meeting secret, if that's possible. Allow me to present Captain Robert George of the Continental Army.
We've already met.
You've met? You didn't tell me, Captain?
Well, it was hardly a formal introduction. I mistook Mr. Boone here for a common thief. Don't tell me this is the man you've engaged for a guide.
That's right.
Well, then I must ask to be allowed to pick my own.
Your request is denied, Captain. Mr. Boone is the best woodsman in Kentucky. I will not lay my plans aside because of any personal dislikes.
I don't know what this is all about, Governor, but I can't say too much for the captain's manners. I'm not sure I'd want to guide him from here to across the street.
Of course, you're free to go, Daniel. However, I ask you as a personal favor to at least hear me out.
Well, we have walked 10 days to get here. I think the least I can do is hear you out. What do you say, Mingo? By all means.
Thank you. I'll try to be as brief as possible.
Cannon.
Yes, Cannon. I think you know this territory.
I know the country, but the man who made this map didn't know it very well.
That's why I'm depending on you, Daniel. Now, in your opinion, is this expedition possible?
Oh, I guess anything's possible. I don't know whether it's advisable. Time against us, fall rain's coming on.
To say nothing of Indians. Or the British, I don't imagine they'll look with favor on a cannon being brought against them.
I've considered that, Captain. That's why I made no mention of it in my letter, Daniel, in case it should fall into the wrong hands.
Transporting a cannon through the wilderness isn't the easiest thing to keep secret, Governor.
That's true. But there's no reason for anyone outside the four of us to know its destination. It could well be consigned to any of our frontier outposts. Of course, I'll grant you may encounter isolated enemy patrols, roving bands of Indians, but there's no large British force within the boundaries of Kentucky, at least not yet. If our mission fails, there may well be an army of them soon. Well, Daniel?
When you put it that way, I can't very well refuse. I'll do the best I can. I'll go along with that.
Captain.
I still think the whole idea is insane. But then I have no choice in the matter, have I?
I'm afraid not.
Then I'd like to ask one question. How large a military escort will we have?
I'll leave that to Mr. Boone, since getting there is his responsibility.
I don't want any soldiers.
The three of us are going to drag a cannon across 1,000 miles of wilderness?
Nope, but I want backwoodsmen. Kentuckians preferably. If something happens to Mingo or me, at least they'll know the country.
And I'm going to command a bunch of rabble, huh?
I wasn't aware that you were to command anything except the gun, Captain. If I undertake this trip, I'll do it with my own men in my own way.
Your Excellency.
I know, Captain, you object. But I find Mr. Boone's point well taken. Daniel? Do you think you can recruit some volunteers?
Well, I won't guarantee that there'll be volunteers, but I probably can raise some men.
Well, I'll just leave that part of it up to you, then.
How much can I offer to pay them?
The Virginia Assembly has agreed to allot $100 to anyone who'll undertake the trip.
It's not much money to risk hanging or scalping.
I have to agree with you. But the Assembly doesn't share my enthusiasm for the project. Nor do I think they realize its potential influence on the outcome of the war. But I take it it's all settled then?
Well, there is one small point, Governor. Nobody knows yet whether your homemade cannon will even fire.
Oh, well, that's your job, Captain. But that'll wait till tomorrow. Mr. Goodleaf? Well, there it is. The Williamsburg cannon. What's your opinion of it, Captain?
Eight-pounder, huh? I'd prefer a larger bore for the task assigned to me. But then we'd have to pull more weight. Design seems proper. However, there's just one way to test the quality of the metal.
I made that cannon, Captain, a trade I learned in England. You'll find the metal sound and the bore accurate.
Then I assume you also know how to load it?
Aye, sir. There's many around. I've loaded into one of these.
Then let's get on with it.
Aye, sir. You want a light charge or a heavy one, sir?
I want a canister charge. Make it a heavy one. If it blows up now, it'll save us all a long trip and a lot of trouble.
Aye, sir.
I'll take care of the priming.
Aye, sir.
That clump of trees seems a likely target over yonder. Boone, give me a hand. Soldier, get that powder out of here. Swing it right. And I'll need a little elevation, too. Hold it. That's about it. Right. A little more right. Right down. That's right. Chock the wheels.
Mr. Governor?
All right, carry on, Captain.
If I were you gentlemen, I'd move back.
I have faith in my cannon.
All right, Captain. Touch her off. On liberty, the Continental Congress.
All right here. Muzzle seems sound. No sign of a crack or flaw in the barrel.
Splendid work, Mr. Goodleaf.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Governor, I'm afraid your cannon is quite satisfactory.
Afraid, Captain?
Yes, sir. Quite frankly, I was hoping it would blow sky high. I'm not looking forward to this harebrained expedition.
I'd already gotten that impression. How soon would you plan to leave, Daniel?
Just as soon as we can get the cannon loaded into the wagon and arrange for our supplies.
Well, I can take care of that yet today. What do you think you'll need?
We'll need staples and supplies for 6 men for at least a month. Grain for the horses, extra harness, a few coils, a good stout rope, that ought to do it.
One more wagon should prove sufficient, then.
May I make a suggestion, Governor?
Certainly.
Then I would advise pack horses rather than another wagon. Ones that are broken to harness, so that in case of an emergency, we'd have an extra hitch.
It's a good idea, Mingo.
I'll arrange for the horses.
Well, how do you propose to carry powder and shot? Your cannon's no good without proper ammunition.
That's already taken care of, Captain. Major Clark has established a supply depot on Corn Island, at the Falls of the Ohio. You'll pick up shot and powder there. Your load should be lightened sufficiently by then to compensate for any extra weight.
By then, we should be halfway to Vincennes anyway.
Our only problem is one of personnel. When will you find recruits?
Well, if you'll meet me at midnight, Governor, I'll have your men for you. Now, if you'll just tell me where the taverns are located in this town.
Taverns?
I said I wanted backwoodsmen. There's only one place you'll find them when they're in town, and that's someplace where they can get something to drink.
The Williamsburg Pike. You'll find your taverns there.
Seems a peculiar place to look for patriots.
I didn't say they'd be patriotic, but they'll be tough. And I got an idea some of them can use a little extra drinking money.
Daniel, these are troubled times. Virginia has its share of British sympathizers. Choose your men carefully.
I will, Governor.
Well, now, Captain, since you seem to be the keeper of the cannon, I'll leave you and Mr. Goodleaf to see it loaded on the wagon properly.
You. It's you I'm talking to, you thief.
I heard you. Now go away, I'm thinking.
Well, then do your thinking somewhere else. You've been taking up space at my table for an hour and not bought so much as a pint of ale.
It's a public place, ain't it?
Not for non-paying customers, it ain't. Now be gone before I throw you out.
I don't think you can do it.
Well, maybe not alone, but I'll have help. Sim, Tate, come over here. Now, are you going peaceful like I was asking you to?
You don't see me moving, do you?
Throw him out. Now, let me give you some advice, son. Stay out of all the taverns in town until you get some money.
There are your taverns, Daniel. 2 of them at least.
That's just about all we can cover at once. Which one do you want?
I can't see there's much difference, judging by the noise. I'll take the one down the street.
Good hunting.
Daniel!
You want me to go with you?
No. But there is one thing worrying me. How does one tell a Tory from a loyalist? They dress the same?
Well, you might go in the bar and try shouting 3 cheers for King George and down with the Continental Congress.
Well, that's not too subtle. And it might be downright dangerous.
It's just a suggestion.
I'll think of something.
Well, you do it your way and I'll do it mine. You know where to meet me.
Just don't turn around, mister. Now get over here. Your money, mister, and I need it real bad. So don't try running, because I throw this knife real good.
Well, I don't plan on running.
Now you're being sensible.
You ought to learn a little more about it. Next time you might try a gun or you're apt to get yourself hurt.
Go ahead and cut my throat. Don't matter much to me anyhow.
I'm tempted.
What are you going to do to me?
Now, that depends on the answers I get. What's your name?
Sam Lynn. Wait a minute, I know who you are. What? Well, you're Daniel Boone. I seen you once in Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky, too. Mr. Boone, I'm right ashamed of what I done. I've never done anything like that before.
You must have needed money real bad. What did you want it for?
For her.
For her?
Shawnee girl. I want to marry her, but I got to buy her.
You were aiming on robbing me to get money to buy yourself a wife?
That's right.
Well, how much do you need?
$50.
Sam, you got nerve. And you fight pretty good. How would you like a job?
Doing what?
Driving a wagon, hauling some freight. It'd take about a month of your time. The pay's $100.
Would you mind repeating that?
Driving a wagon.
No, not that part. The part about the money.
$100, $50 now, $50 when the job's finished.
Mr. Boone, I reckon you just hired yourself a hand. When do we leave?
Well, just as soon as I hire another hand. Come on, I'll buy you a drink.
In there?
Why not? Wait a minute, I'll get my knife and my gun.
Mr. Boone, I'll tell you the truth. I just got thrown out of there. Took 3 of them to do it, but, well, there's an outside chance I could get thrown out again.
With what I got in mind, there's a real good chance I'll get thrown out with you. Or do you want to wait here?
Well, if it took 3 of them to throw me out, considering your size, it'll probably take 4 to throw you out. Couldn't be more than a dozen or so in there. All right.
2 Kentuckians, 12 of them. It's a fair fight.
You wouldn't turn away a man with a thirst with no place to rest his head.
I would. And you can go rest your head on somebody else's bar. You haven't paid for the last drink yet.
Well, as evidence of my good faith, I'll just have to leave my claymore with you until I'm in funds again.
Leave your what?
Claymore. Claymore. The sword of my ancestors. Many's the blow it struck for bonny Prince Charlie in the hearts of the Highlands. And many a the time it's whirled o'er the battle cry of the clan Glenfallen. And since it's apparent that you have no appreciation for the custom of a gentleman, I'll be on my way.
Give him the drink, landlord. I'll pay for it.
I'll a gentleman. Indians.
One Indian. I came alone.
You British hireling paid to take the scalps of honest men, I'll have your head.
So help me. I never heard an Indian in my life.
There's no cause for alarm. Pour me a mug of ale, will you?
Yes, sir. Anything you say. Now, if there's anything else I can do for you.
Who is he?
Alexander McAfee, a remittance man, bought by the Crown for some reason which I don't know. But one thing I do know, he can be an awfully violent man.
Don't I know it? Maybe exactly the kind of man I'm looking for.
So it's you again.
Told me to come back when I had money in my pockets? Well, I got a friend with money.
Yeah, that's right.
And we want 2 mugs of ale.
Ready, Sam?
Ready? For what?
I'm not real sure, but it could turn out to be real lively. Three cheers for the king and down with the Continental Congress. Be careful with him, Sam. I think we found our other man.
outside again.
Sam, I gotta say one thing for you. You're sure persistent. What do you want to go back in there for again?
Well, you offered to buy me a mug of ale. I ain't had a chance to drink it yet. Still a setting in there in the bar.
What do you think about that, friend?
I think you and me still got a little argument to settle.
If you give me a chance, I think I can explain.
Need no explanation. Don't like the British, don't like you. As soon as I get my wind, I aim to prove it.
Well, what would you have said if I'd have said 3 cheers for George Washington instead of the king?
I'd have been standing at the bar real peaceful like.
Well, that answers my question.
Well, it doesn't answer mine. You got friendly feelings for General Washington. What are you doing cheering for the British?
We was looking for a patriot.
Well, now, there's ways of going about that. Ain't quite as violent, son. Like asking questions.
Well, if you ask questions, sometimes you get lied to.
That's sort of logical. But I still got to ask one. What for are you looking for a patriot?
Well, if you'll just come back inside the tavern while I finish up my drink, I think Mr. Boone will be glad to explain that to you.
Boone? Not Daniel Boone.
Yeah, that's me.
Huh. Mr. Boone, I'm real glad to meet you. Name's Moore. Ben Moore.
Sam Lynn.
Take it he's a friend of yours.
Yeah, we seem to be getting closer all the time.
Well, I'm real glad to meet you.
Likewise. Now that we got that settled, can we go in and finish that ale?
Well, now, Sam, they've thrown you out of there twice already.
Well, I got a feeling about getting thrown out of places.
So have I, but I'm not real sure we got the same feeling. What makes you think they won't throw you out again?
Well, this last time, I figure we was sort of working at cross purposes. Now that the 3 of us understand each other, I don't think they'll dare. Are you with me or against me?
Wait a minute. You've caused me too much trouble to lose you now. You got any feelings on this, Ben?
Oh, I got to side with Sam. I got a drink in there I ain't even touched yet.
Well, you made me spill mine, but I reckon I can get another one. Thank you, fellas. Thank you for the paper. Landlord, me and my friends would like a mug of ale.
Now, don't you figure you caused me enough trouble already?
What trouble you reckon he's talking about?
Oh, you must mean that little misunderstanding Dan and me had.
You know what trouble I mean. Now get out, all 3 of you.
Mister, I think you've got the wrong impression. All we want is a friendly little drink. If you don't call off your dogs, that trouble you just mentioned won't hold a candle to the trouble you're going to get. Or maybe you never heard of the expression, in union there's strength.
Let them stay. As long as they don't start no more fights.
Now, that's what I like. Peace and quiet in a friendly atmosphere. Thank you, Enki.
You still ain't told me what I want to hear.
What I need is a man who knows the wilderness and who doesn't mind a fight. And I know the answer to the last.
I've trapped from here to the Mississippi if that any helps you with the first.
I'll do for a start. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you the same offer I made Sam. It's $100 for the job, half now, half when you're finished.
I'm listening.
Here's your ale.
As I was saying, there's nothing like a friendly atmosphere.
It'd be a lot friendlier if somebody put some money on the table.
Money for what?
For the ale.
Mister, when I left here the last time, I had a full mug of ale just a-sitting over there in that bar. Now, if some dishonest person stole it, well, I sort of figure that that's your responsibility. But I'm real happy to see that you replaced it for me.
Now that Sam mentioned it, I had a mug, too. Happy days.
And I suppose you had a full mug, too.
Nope. As a matter of fact, I spilled mine. But just to show you there's no hard feelings, here's a little money to pay for the ale. and whatever damage we may have done.
You think that's enough to pay for all the furniture you broke?
As I recall, we had quite a bit of help. Why don't you go and collect it from them?
Now, as you were saying, and I was listening.
I told you not to come here till I close the place for the night.
The information I brought this time couldn't wait.
I'll be the judge of that.
And listen well and judge. You see that big man with the red shirt and the leather jerkin sitting at that table over there?
I've seen him. He's some drunken trapper. He started a fight in here like to tore up all the furniture.
A Kentuckian named Daniel Boone. And here on business for the governor.
What's he doing in a place like this?
I can tell you that, too. Now, is there some place we can talk?
Well, I'll be closed within an hour. Good night, but be sure nobody sees you, Mr. Goodleap.
All right.
Well, that's the story, Ben. What do you think?
Well, if I'd had another mug of ale, I'd say either you was drunk or I was.
Well, I can't say that I blame you. May not be real sensible, but we'd like to have you come along.
You gone, Sam?
Well, I've been called a lot of things, but nobody ever called me sensible.
Come to think of it, nobody ever called me that either.
Does that mean you'll be joining us?
It was Indians with British guns that burned my farm. Killed my wife. Both of my young ones. I owe them something. Got no worldly good no more. No family ties. I'll move your cannon. Anywhere you want.
How much longer we will be waiting for this friend of yours?
Well, not much longer. Maybe I ought to start out looking for him. Him being Indian, he may have got himself into trouble.
You say Indian?
Yeah. You two wait here.
We'll all wait, Boone.
What's wrong with you?
Told you. It was Indians burned me out. So we'll all wait for that friend of yours. When he gets here, I aim to kill him.
You let me explain.
No explaining needed when it comes to Indians. I said we'd wait here.
Well, if you won't listen, Ben, I reckon you and I are going to have to lock horns again.
I reckon so. Now, if you just come in a little closer.
That's the way you want it.
I reckon I'll just hang on to this until you can talk to him.
Thanks, Sam.
You don't have to thank me. It's just plain unreasonable when it comes to Injuns. Here I'm aiming to marry one. Pay for her, too.
Well, when he wakes up, we'll just explain together.
Maybe we can. Sure did hate to break that jug, though.
Well, there's just a chance I might be able to replace it.
What are we going to do with him?
Just try to reason with him, I guess.
I hope we can. They're just beginning to like him pretty good, but... Well, a man that's got a hate as big as his is sometimes hard to talk to.
Well, you're not fixing to quit on me, are you, Sam? Not on account of Ben.
Shucks, no, Mr. Boone. If I can't talk to him, I figure I can always whoop him one way or another, huh?
Well, when he wakes up, you do whatever you think's necessary. I can get another man, but I haven't got time. I'm going to go after my friend Mingo.
Is that engine you talked about?
Yeah, that's him.
I heard of him, too. So, look, you just go ahead and do what's got to be done. I'll guarantee you the two of us is going to be here when you get back.
Sam, you've been a big help to me.
the man for us, Daniel.
Now, that's the biggest skinning knife I ever seen.
I thought you might recruit someone. I didn't figure on you capturing him.
And who is it you think is the captive? I merely granted my Aborigine friend the temporary honor of being my personal sword bearer. Mac's the name. Alexander McAfee. I've heard about you, Mr. Boone. And I'm here to offer my hand and my trusty claymore in the interest of freedom.
I'm glad to have you with us, Mr. McAfee. This is Sam Lynn.
Pleasure.
Howdy.
Who's he? Oh, that's Ben Moore. He's another one of our volunteers. Give me a hand with him. We're supposed to meet the governor at midnight.
Volunteer?
You say they aimed to haul a cannon to Major Clark at Fort Vincennes.
I heard them talking. There's no doubt about it.
Over all them mountains, without any roads? Can't be done.
Boone says it can.
How many men?
An Army Captain Boone, his Indian friend, and 3 Kentuckians, if he can find them.
He may have found a couple of them here tonight.
Now, you pay me my money and I'll leave, and you'll hear no more from me. I'll want enough to pay my passage back to England.
Which way are they going, and when do they leave?
You show me the money, and I'll even tell you that.
Well, that sounds fair enough. Well?
There's a supply depot at the falls of the Ohio. They'll stop there for shot and powder.
When do they leave?
They meet tonight at midnight at Finley's Grove, just off the turnpike.
You're sure no one saw you come here tonight, Mr. Goodleaf?
You may be sure of that. I'd not take a chance on being hanged. And now I'm glad the spying's at an end. I find I have no taste for it.
And no more value to us. Tate, you know how to find that British raiding party hiding in the mountains west of here?
Major Ferguson? I reckon I can find him. Might take a little while.
It takes time to move a cannon, too. Go saddle up a horse.
Mr. McAfee.
The knots are well tied and tight, Mr. Boone. The chalkings are sound. There's no reason she can't make the trip.
A lot of reasons I can think of, but we won't go into that now. How are you making out, Sam?
All hitched and ready to go, Mr. Boone, anytime you are.
Captain? And roll them out.
Oh. Daniel.
Any further orders, Governor?
That ammunition you're going to pick up at the falls of the Ohio. Take what you can and destroy the rest. We don't want any of it to fall into the hands of the enemy.
Yes, sir.
And Daniel, remember, our troops at Vincennes may fail if you don't get them this cannon.
I'll remember.
Godspeed you then. Brave men for liberty.
is it, Major Ferguson?
Point just signaled for us to hold up the column.
Major, how long do you intend to tramp up and down this river? We should be heading back to fight Major Stewart.
Mr. Foss, we will continue marching towards the east. I'm expecting a messenger from Williamsburg advising me of what is taking place, and we will continue to march until we meet him. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
What is it, man? Speak up.
An horseman, sir. It could be that messenger you're expecting.
You see, Mr. Foss, your lack of patience was unnecessary. See that he's brought to me as soon as he arrives.
Yes, sir.
Your men have been clamoring for action, Mr. Foss. It would seem they may see it very shortly.
Yes, sir.
Bring the supply wagons forward! Did you hear that, Mr. Foss? The Williamsburg cannon here in the wilderness. A capital prize, and one that should prove invaluable against these frontier outposts. How many men did you say are in the escort?
It was just 6 of them, sir.
It's even better than I'd hoped.
And only one of them's a soldier. He's a Captain George of the Continental Army.
Who are the others?
Well, there's Daniel Boone, an Injun they call Mingo, and a Scotsman named McAfee. 2 Kentucky hunters, Ben Moore and a Sam Lynn.
Well, where do you think they would be about now?
Well, it's hard to say. All I know is they're 5 days out of Williamsburg and they're heading for the Falls of Ohio.
That's rather a roundabout way to get to Vincennes.
They're going to pick up some shot and powder that's left for them somewhere in that area.
You mean they're not carrying any ammunition?
Not for the cannonade.
Well, I say let's push on and get them.
No. Once they get on the river trail, they'll have to stay on it. There's no way over the mountains until they get past the falls of the Ohio. If we can find that supply of powder before they get here, get the men ready to march.
Yes, sir.
If you want to contact me again, I'll be waiting for Boone at the falls of the Ohio.
This is Fess Parker. Please watch for the exciting conclusion on Part 2 next week.
Wild men, he tried to run us down.
Driver! Sorry, sir. 2 men tried to flag me down, scared the horses off the road. Sorry, sir.
Now, let's move on or I'll be late for my appointment.
Yes, sir.
Back! Back! Back!
Move!
You spooked my team and almost upset my carriage.
Look, I'm sorry, but
Now, you stand away before I take this whip to you.
Move!
He's only a bit of a fellow, isn't he?
Yeah, do you want to scalp him, Mingo, or shall I?
Don't lay a hand on my driver. And don't tempt me, sir. There's no penalty for killing a highwayman. Driver, the governor's mansion. And hurry.
That's the way I heard it.
Top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe. The rippin'est, roarin'est, fightin'est man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. What a Boone, what a doer, what a dream come truer was he.
I assume, Captain, that you know why you're here.
All I know, Governor Henry, is that I've been put on detached duty from General Washington's command to take part in some special mission.
At my request.
Yes, sir, at your request. And speaking as a professional soldier, sir, may I say that I resent being removed from an important battle area to take part in some inconsequential frontier action.
You are at liberty to say anything you wish, Captain, but you are here for only one reason. General Washington has recommended you as being an expert artillery officer. For my part, I resent your attitude, but I need a man of your abilities. Now, if you'll permit me, I will explain why I've sent for you.
Certainly, sir.
As a professional soldier, you may be inclined to discount what I'm about to say as patriotic drivel, but I assure you...
Are you questioning my patriotism, sir?
No, I am merely asking to be allowed to finish what I have to say. When the Declaration of Independence was published here, the citizens of Williamsburg wished to contribute something to the cause. As you point out, Virginia is a frontier territory. Our resources are limited. But the people have given what they could. They've given metal, sir. All the metal they could. Iron skillets, iron statues, iron tools, copper. This precious metal has been melted down and cast into a weapon. The Williamsburg cannon. That's why you're here, Captain.
Do you mean to say, sir, that I've been brought all the way from